You're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's RBLR Sports.
4 seconds left. In front. Happy moment. The Tampa Bay Lightning have won the first Stanley Cup. And the Tampa Bay Lightning have won the Stanley Cup. Lightning strikes twice. The Tampa Bay Lightning win their second straight Stanley Cup.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to RBLR Lightning. As always, my name is Jake Ricker. Alongside me, it's Joe DeNataro. It's Matt Gannon. Guys, welcome back to the show. And boy, do we have a good one for you guys tonight. What a difference a month can make. Your Tampa Bay Lightning, as last I checked on with the games tonight, but the Lightning are sitting in first place in the division. How about that? Absolutely unbelievable. Welcome to everybody that's tuning in with us live. Thank you guys so much for joining us, even though we're doing this on a different day. Normally around 7 o'clock on Monday or 6 o'clock on Mondays we go, but a little bit of change of plans this week. So thanks for joining us. Don't forget to drop your comments down below. Already see some people popping off in the chat, so appreciate that as always. But before we get into everything, first and foremost, guys, how you doing today?
Doing good, man. I just kind of want to get into it. So exciting. You already mentioned first in the division, and they're one game in hand for the Carolina Hurricanes, who've got 2 points more than them. So they're right there for leading the conference.
I know sometimes I come in here saying, you know, the shows where you lose a couple games a week are a lot more fun, but no, I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this one. I can't imagine that any vibes are low right now. We're all feeling really good.
Oh, there's no question about it. And like Joe said, let's get right into it. Let's talk about these games. We do have 4 different ones to get to, and there's a lot of good going throughout this week. Starting off with the first game for the Lightning against the New Jersey Devils. Now, we talked about this one last week and saying that this was a big game because the Lightning, you know, obviously had their struggles last week, and you're playing a very good New Jersey Devils team who at the time, I believe, are still sitting in first place in the division. I don't know where they're at this moment. They've lost a couple. Are they still in first? They're still in first. Okay. So very good New Jersey.
They're 1 point back on the Carolina Hurricanes.
Oops, my bad.
Yeah, it's all right. But they did lose, you know, they were at first because they up until they faced us, they then lost 3 in a row.
So a very good New Jersey team nonetheless. And the Lightning, they win this game, guys, by a final score of 5-1. A great game for the Bolts. They got started early in this game. We got up 2-0 in that first period. And they basically really controlled this game throughout the entirety of it. I don't know, there were really many times that New Jersey was the better team in this game. A couple of quick stats here too. You know, power play 2 for 3 for the Lightning at 66.7%. That was fantastic. Face-offs a little bit better in this game at 43%. They did not win it in this one, but we'll get to that more later. But just to see some of the big guys getting back into it as well, like Nikita Kucherov getting some goals, Jake Guentzel doing his thing. He picks up the hat trick in this game. Fantastic stuff from the boys.
Yeah, this was one of the games that one of the Hughes brothers I think it was the first one that he missed. I didn't realize his injury. I guess he was leaning on a champagne glass, and it broke under his hand in order to cut his pinky finger open, and needed to get it stitched or something. So he missed this game, which, you know, that was a pretty big loss for the team because it just seemed like they didn't have much momentum, the Devils, that is, coming into Tampa, because it felt like it was pretty much all Tampa all night.
Yeah, it's your annual Jack Hughes injury. It's pretty consistent at this point. I didn't expect it to be this. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was a guy dressed up as a Jesus. It was at a different Jersey game, but he was holding up a sign that said Hughes can't play near the glass or something like that. I thought that was a pretty funny, pretty funny sign to have. But no, I mean, there's not much to write home about this game. I'm not going to say it was the most boring game of the week because you did have some really fun games. All of these really were, but you know, it wasn't really close at any real point, which is what I like to see. It's what everybody likes to see. It's quite a far cry from where we've come earlier this season, having Jake Guentzel get the hat trick, big games by Darren Radish as well to really set him up for a couple of those goals. Just a really great game all around. At no point did I feel like this game was in jeopardy. You thought you were going to blow it. Like those bad feelings have quickly subsided. But
Yeah, and say even that goal against was such a weird goal against, which basically was basically hand batted into the net, except for it hit. Was it Moser? Maybe it hit Moser. That was kind of sliding to the net, and he physically batted it in, trying to pull it back out. So like two times it being hit with hands, and it ended up counting. So if that's the way they're scoring goals against the Lightning, then I think we're doing pretty well.
Yeah, it seems like a couple of years ago the thing was how many shorthanded goals against. Now it's how many own goals against. I think if Moser just didn't touch it at all, I'm not sure if that one would have counted, which it kind of sucks. But
well, they waved it off, or no, they called it a goal. So I was at this game, which was kind of fun because I sat in the end that was closest to the end zone that play happened in. Anecdotally, I also went to the other Devils game that was in October, both times with the same friend who is a Devils fan, and we got worked in that game. So it was pretty nice for some retribution. But the goal was called on the ice with the hand gesture, signaling a goal. Then they went to the officials have like a little circle, almost like a crease that's at center ice near the scorekeeper where they can talk. And then they said it was no goal because there was a hand, like basically a hand is batted in with a hand. Then it was officially challenged by New Jersey, and it was determined that it was not the hand that directed it in. There was the motion of Moser that finally put it in the net. So yeah, you're right. It wouldn't have counted. And if it would have gone in the net without, I think, Moser doing that anyway. So it's one of those really weird plays.
But I think you said it best, too. If those are the goals that they're scoring, if those are the goals that we're allowing, you take that. Like, it sucks. It's brutal. The number of own goals is really starting to stack up. But if it's a greasy, just terrible, barely should count goal, I'll take that.
We've been counting, Matt, in our chat during these games. What are we up to now? I think it's like
7
or something like that. There's been a lot. That's the bottom line of these own goals. But you guys are absolutely right. It's a tough one, but overall in this game, I mean, you win the game 5-1. That's the only goal scored. Really, really good stuff from the team. I want to highlight the power play goal too, scored by Jake Guentzel in the second period. I don't know why, but I really love this goal because obviously the Lightning power play has not been working this year. And there's been a lot of struggles, and they haven't done their turn, because Lightning with Stamkos and Kucherov, what they did was Kucherov had that big shot that he could use sometimes, or he'd sling it right across the ice and get it to Stamkos, who is known for his powerful shot. They don't have Stamkos anymore, so obviously they have to change their power play up a lot, and they haven't been able to find and really click with it quite yet. But on this power play goal, it wasn't a big, powerful slap shot from one of the sides. It was a fantastic pass from Darren Radish to put right on the tape to Jake Guentzel, who had snuck away from the entire play. Everybody forgot about him. And all he's got to do is sit there and put his stick on the ice and put it in the back of the net. That was a great power play goal and a good adjustment by this team to do something different. It's something they haven't really done a lot this year.
I'm not so totally nice. Had to see it twice, right? That's exactly how his hat trick goal went in too.
I'm not totally unconvinced that Darren Radish wasn't trying to get that on net the way he does miss 5 feet wide. So, no, I'm just playing. He had a whale of a game too. But, Jake, I like that you brought that up as well. Like, it was an adjustment. It's not your typical, Lightning power play goal that you've seen for the last 5 or 6 years. It was a new look, a new guy quarterbacking the power play. So, just hats off literally to Jake Guentzel and just another great play by Darren Radish. I can't overemphasize how good of a game Radish had as well. I even picked him up in my fantasy league. I mean, I can change. I can grow as a person. I figure with Victor Hedman out, he's going to be the power play 1 guy. So I picked him up. It was after this game I picked him up, so I'm still waiting to see, the return on investment. But I just wanted to let you guys know that.
It's a bold choice, Cotton.
It is.
See if it pays off for you. I do want to say that something that was kind of neat is I got lucky with the seats. They're basically in the corner on the attack side and low, like 5th row. There was at one point during the power play, Nikita Kucherov fed a one-timer over to Bjorkstrand that was just how he got it through and put it so accurately right on his tape. And Bjorkstrand did get a one-timer off that required a really good save, but being directly in line of that one. So it was almost like the pass was coming straight to where I was sitting was so cool. Cause you could just almost imagine what Stamkos was being fed all those years. And it was just so precise, so beautiful. But I think we almost need to start having some conversations about Bjorkstrand and what his role on this team is going to be, because actually is fitting in better as a fourth liner than anything else.
He did have a point in this game. He assisted on that Jake Guentzel power play goal that we just talked about. I do think, and this is kind of an overall theme throughout the week in watching the power plays got better this week by a landslide. I think Radish is maybe getting a little bit more comfortable and trying to take some shots on that side, say in the circle where Stamkos normally is. So maybe there's something. There's still a long way to go. Radish is definitely not Radish. Excuse me. Bjorkstrand is not the player I think a lot of us fully expected as of right now. But I did kind of feel like, I don't know if you guys got this same feeling, that he seemed to get a little more comfortable over these last couple of games. Now, granted, the whole entire team was playing much better than they had been. So, but I thought he had looked at least looked better recently.
This is a guy who, in his career, he's a streaky player. Like, when he's good, he's really good. When he's off, he's pretty off. And, he is kind of on par with what he has been in his career. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more, given the price we paid for him. I don't think he's making a whole heck of a lot, but it doesn't seem like he's on pace for the 20-25 goals that he has done his entire career. But he's just a streaky player. Hopefully, with the goal in the Capitals game with this assist, it might start going in for him, but he has left a lot to be desired so far this season. I know last year you can't really give him a fair shake. It was very truncated, and he was injured for a part of it as well. I thought he was useful then, but I really do need to see more from him this year. Hopefully he can really take over that, left wing power play one spot, but right now keep playing with it, I guess.
Honestly, I'm not seeing it be an option in the future. I don't mind him being a fourth liner either, though, if he's able to be solid defensively. We've got other guys that are stepping up and starting to make a big difference. So just hope, maybe come trade deadline time, we get someone that's right-handed that can, put the puck on net at least. Just on net.
I'm still a believer in Bjorkstrand. Maybe I'm just a little bit hopeful on him, but I don't know. I think maybe he still can have a chance. If he can get hot, maybe something can change for him, but only time will tell with Bjorkstrand. A couple of questions I do want to get to real quick before we get too far away. This one from Daniel here. Does Hedman go back on power play one when he returns, or keep Darren Radish? I can't imagine that they would take away that spot from Hedman, even though things have been better recently. Listen, I know Hedman hasn't had a great season, but again, the whole team as a whole is playing better right now. And I think once Hedman comes back, he hopefully will be 100% healthy at that point. I think Hedman will fit right back in and be better. So I would say no, but granted, I'm not John Cooper. So
yeah, unless the power play is clicking at 40% or more in the time that he's gone, I can't imagine that he doesn't get it back. But I'm pretty sure last year as well, he kind of lost his job for a brief moment there to Darren Radish. I don't know if it was injury or he was just playing kind of poorly as well, but I'm pretty sure he did, spend like a week on the second unit, something like that.
He did.
There's been a history of experimenting with him. Sergachev took over that position for a little while too.
That's what it was.
They did put Radish as well, but they've experimented back there because when you lose Steven Stamkos, you want someone that can generate something a little bit more dynamic, and he's awesome when you've got the double threat that is Hedman. Is awesome when you've got one on each side that he can pass to, and he passes so well. But mixing things up isn't a bad thing either, because it keeps everybody moving, and that's what we said that we wanted to see anyway, was a little bit more dynamic movement on the power play. So having new guys there that are working isn't a bad thing, and then you get back to what was working before, like having Hedman quarterbacking it, and all of a sudden teams started getting used to more dynamic movement that they're defending against, and your old ways start working again.
There's a guy, and again, this is getting ahead a little bit, who has just been called up. He has not played a game yet for the Lightning, that I'm very excited, who's a defenseman, not by trade, but he's a forward. And I'm kind of now, this just clicked in my head, he might be a really good option on that power play, maybe on power play 2 to start him off. But of course, if you don't know who I'm talking about Maxim Groshev, who is we all know, very talented and skilled scorer when he can be, but he's converted to defenseman. So maybe he would be an option because he knows how to shoot the puck. So
surprised it took you this long to mention him.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I almost forgot, but it just clicked in my head. So for those that don't know, I'm a huge Maxim Groshev fan. I believed in his potential for a long, long time, and he's finally gotten the call up and looks like he may get a shot here very, very soon. So I wonder how if they'd be willing to try that, because that would be really interesting to see. But
I think it's something you kind of gotta earn a little bit too. So I mean,
that's also fair.
It'd take a little bit of time, but I was so quick to the gun here right from the beginning of the show. We didn't really talk about news, and there is news in terms of him being called up, and then Chernak being, did they say week to week with Chernak?
So
he seems to be out a long time. He went on IR, so.
Yeah, I mean, just tons of injuries in this defensive core, and for this week, what we have, I mean, we got more games to recap, but instead of burying the lead, the defense this week has been absolutely insane, and you're missing the top 3 guys that play defense on the team, and everybody else has really stepped up, and it's something that we were criticizing majorly earlier in the season. And oh my God, they had one goal against, 1 goal against, 3 goals against. 1 goal against and a shutout. Did I do too many games there? So I mean, they're like, if someone wants to do math in their head, I ran out of fingers to count on. It's like 2 goals, less than 2 goals a game average for the past 4 games, and they're missing their top guys.
Yeah, I was shocked, jumping the gun a little bit, going to, this Philly game. You got shut out by, first of all, Vasilevsky, but Declan Carlisle, Darren Radish, Max Crozier, or not even Crozier. He's injured too. A bunch of AHL guys. You're missing, 3 or 4 of your starters. It's impressive what these guys have been able to do. It's been a great lesson in team defense, not just strictly defenseman defense, but everybody's really stepping up to help everybody out right now. It's not very secular like you really saw earlier this season. Every unit was kind of their own thing. Everybody's really playing together. So you got to give credit, especially to these defensemen that have stepped up in this very trying time when you're missing, 60% of your starters.
No, it's been fantastic, and there's no question about it. The fact that they're still calling guys up like Maxim Groshev, who, could get a shot on defense here too, to see how he does. That just shows you how great that Syracuse pipeline has been, so good for the Lightning for so long. And that's a really nice problem to have, that you got all these great defenders in Syracuse that, could be trade pieces in the future or could be future starters on the Lightning defense. You just really never know. By the way, Ethan does agree with me when it comes to this debate we were just having, by the way, saying no way they replace Victor with Radish, but
cherry picking comments to bolster your position.
Well, no, that was I'm just going through all the comments. What are you talking about? I don't see any here the way that say Hedman, so I'm not cherry picking anything. We got a whole bunch of comments to get to. Appreciate everybody tuning in, joining with us live here. Don't forget, if you do miss out, you can follow us on social media at RBLR Sports, at RBLR Lightning, so you know when we do go live, and you can join the conversation here with us. Let's see, a couple other things too. Ethan said trade for Tage Thompson for those 1 T from Cooch. Hey, that would be fun.
Yes.
Look for them to pull that out. Matt's in for it. Trade deadline still a ways away, but I would imagine we're going to make some kind of move at some point. So I wouldn't hate that. And then Daniel, I see your comment about the Stadium Series. I do want to get to that. We'll get to that later, though. I do want to get to these games because the next game, this is a big one, guys. Lightning taking on the Edmonton Oilers, who obviously are always a threat with Connor McDavid in town. The Lightning win this one by a final score of 2-1 in overtime. I'm going to skip everything in this game, and I'm going to go right to overtime. We got to talk about it. Andre Vasy, what a sequence this was. I've watched it about 6,000 times since it happened. The sequence of Andre Vasilevsky making 3 unbelievable saves on the Edmonton Oilers and sticking up that pad when it looked like for sure the Oilers were going to win that game and take it in overtime, and then getting the pass down to Jake Guentzel, who scores to win it for the Lightning. This was electric.
I don't know where to start.
There's no other way to put it. I mean, it was one of those moments where the game was completely over, right? Like
it was so electric that Joe's internet just went out. And it was. Hopefully, we'll get him back here momentarily. But
I'll carry the reins, Jake. I mean, this game. I'll start from the first. It was driving me crazy because I thought objectively the Lightning were a better team. The Oilers got the one goal early from Trent Frederick of all people, and it seems like the theme of this game is of all people. Calvin Pickard is pitching a shutout for 58 minutes in this game. This is a guy you're getting some pretty quality shots on. Shut up. You're getting some quality shots on. Like, this is a guy who came into this game with an .830 save percentage. Like, you have no reason to be getting stuff.
They ranked bottom of the league in both goals against average and save percentage, both the Edmonton goaltenders.
And that's what was driving me crazy is how are you letting this happen to yourself? I thought they were playing good. There were, some times where you were only getting some outside shots, nothing crazy, no real great testing chances against Pickard until the third period. The third period, they really, really did step on the gas a good bit. You got to give credit to Vasilevsky as well in the regulation part of this game. The one goal that did beat him, it was a pretty good goal. It was a nice setup one-timer from Trent Frederick, but it was just driving me crazy how you let Frederick score and you let Pickard pitch the shutout for so long, and then finally our prayers have been answered by, of all people, Nick Paul in his first game of the season, just at the right place, right time, put the puck right over his shoulder for just a perfectly placed goal, and just at the most clutch moment possible. And it was just a huge, huge sigh of relief when he got that goal, and then carrying into overtime. I can't even remember how long overtime really happened. The only thing I can really remember is that sequence on, our end of the ice, the defensive zone where Vasy makes 3 incredible saves. One where Zach Hyman, all 6'3" and 200-something pounds of him, is on top of Vasy and shutting the door on Jack Roslovic with that left pad.
And then he scores the goal, and it was amazing.
That's pretty much where I left off.
Sorry, guys. I got a hiccup with the internet there.
All good, Joe.
Take it away. Where were you?
So that was the second game of the week. I actually was fortunate enough to make it to, and had the view that was on Vasy's side, seeing him make the save. I didn't believe it at first. I don't think anybody did. The stadium went nuts when they realized that the puck got shot out. And then there was a great pass from Kucherov up to Radish. And I'm not going to lie, I swear to God, I was like, all right. And then I was like, oh, no, it's Radish. What's he going to do with it? But he passed it, made an amazing pass over to Guentzel in order to bury it. The turn of emotions going from, oh, man, this guy's wide open in front, and Vasy's hung out to dry. Oh, he's hung out to dry again. Oh, he's hung out again. And then it going the other way. What an incredible finish for a game that – there was no scoring for such a long amount of time there. That was amazing.
It's like a top 5 moment in like Lightning regulation games I can remember in 10, 15 years. I mean, series of moments right there. It's just every emotion you could possibly think of in a 5-minute span. I didn't believe it. I thought, it was game over. You see the puck just sitting there in the crease, and of course, every time you start to doubt Vasilevsky, and I'm not one of these guys, I have full faith in him, but every time people start to doubt him, he just blows your mind. And I thought it was so funny how quickly the NHL adjusted his picture for his stats, his personal card on their website. They made it that picture of him making the save right there. Like the same night, they knew how impressive it was.
Well, there's he had that save behind the back that you'll never forget, right? This is another one that will always be ingrained in my memory, at least, where, oh my God, he saved the game, and then he basically could have gotten an assist off of it if it wasn't for the fact that it was one of the extra pass, because he was one of the guys to touch it. And the way that he kicked it out to generate the offense, it was what a thing of beauty.
What do you guys think? Sorry, Jake, I'll let you get to it in a sec. What do you guys think of the people saying it wasn't that nice to a save? He just had his pad right there.
This is what I have to say. Get out of here.
I'm not one of them.
No, I know it wasn't you, Matt, but give me a break. I mean, it's a desperation save. Vasy's, like you said, Joe, down and out. He can't see. He stuck that pad up to try to do it. And the fact that he even was able to get a pad on it when he can't see anything is unbelievable. And it's after saves. And one of the Edmonton players was literally leaping over Vasilevsky. So, he can't move or get up or anything like that to try and make that save. So that is hands down a absolutely stupendous save. And they always say, right, get that puck up in the air. Now, granted, Edmonton did not get it up nearly enough in that play, but there was air to that puck. They did get it up, and Vasy still made the save. So I don't want to hear it from.
Yeah, Guentzel. I mean, even the one that was behind his back, there's a certain amount of luck that plays into it. But let's face it, unless you have incredible instincts and athleticism, you're not in the position to even be able to make that sort of a play. And it's not like he laid there like a lame duck. He actively got his leg into the air to try to make sure that he took away as much of the net in the most likely area that it would go as possible. So sure, there is some luck involved as well, but that's sports, man. It's a game of inches, and he outplayed him based on probability and athleticism. You can't take that away from him.
And that's my argument as well. As going back to that one specific save, is if he didn't elevate the pad, I mean, it's one thing, the puck is just along the ice, but he elevated the pad. That means Jack Roslovic elevated the puck. Like, it was just an amazing save. Everything went right for the Bolts in that moment. Just on the back of Vasilevsky again, he stole us this win for sure.
And I do want to go back to talking about this game. Before we got live, I was kind of mentioning to you guys how Lilleberg and Dasu both looked really shaky to start this game. They got lined up against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, who are, I would actually probably argue they're probably the most dynamic pair in the NHL at this point in time, because we don't really have that as much anymore here when we had points not going off, right, to put Kucherov and Point in that mix. So playing against those caliber players when you're used to being a third pair defenseman is really, really tough. And it is a huge wake-up call when you get Connor McDavid skating full speed down your wing and you have to now defend against them. They looked super shaky the first probably 10 minutes of the game, but they really started making adjustments. They had a little bit larger of a gap to make sure they didn't get burned with speed, but still kept themselves in position. And by I'd say, into the second period, they just plain looked comfortable. They were working really hard. You could tell they were a little bit out of their element at times, but they handled such a great they handled it with such great poise to make adjustments throughout the game. It was super impressive from my standpoint, at least, and I thought at least to give them a shout out for it, because could you imagine going against those guys when you're used to, being a third pairing?
No, even, regular NHL defensemen, like, your Cale Makars, your Quinn Hughes, your shutdown guys, your Jacob Slavins and Ryan McDonough, they don't like going up against those guys, and they regularly get burned by those guys. And, props to you for saying it, Joe. But I remember earlier, like in the first period, let's say, no more than 10 minutes in, McDavid, he split those guys like right through the middle, not even down the wing or anything, right through the middle of them. They tried to close, and he got through, and Vasy shut the door on McDavid pretty good. And like you're saying, they adjusted. They made those gaps a lot bigger. They without sacrificing positioning or anything like that. So just credit to them. At this point, I expect it from Lilleberg. He's really just like the Lightning, stepped up, from his early season woes. And Destu, he's still got to make me a little bit of a believer. I don't think his defensive game is as refined, as you might want it to be. He can move the puck really well, but after that chance, after the first period entirely, they just really did shut the door on pretty much everyone that was coming at them.
Yeah, and to not just completely praise Lilleberg, without a doubt, he made a huge mistake that led to that first goal that was in the first minute or minute and a half. It was a bad read on his part, and it seemed like he made up for it the rest of the game, though, because that was the only goal that Edmonton was able to score at the 1 minute 32 mark.
Do want to mention quickly here, too, that this was the first game back for John Cooper because he had missed the New Jersey Devils game very unexpectedly. It was literally announced during warmups that he was not going to be coaching that game. So good to see that Cooper has been back and everything is okay. Don't know what the situation was personal matters that listed why he missed that game, but still nonetheless, nice to have Cooper back behind the bench. The team really rallied in that Devils game, by the way, when Cooper was not behind the bench. So great to see that from the team as well. But overall, Lightning dominate this game. Well, I don't want to say dominate this game, but Andre Vasilevsky dominates this game in the defense overall. And we get that highlight reel save and sequence from the Bolts. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to mention too. I love that this team immediately went to celebrate with Andre Vasilevsky. Jay Guentzel was pointing right to him. That just kind of shows you the kind of locker room these guys have, this organization, things we've talked about many times before. That's just a really cool moment. So that was great to see as well.
Oh, yeah, he had to have 15 offers for a steak dinner that night. I mean, I'd be the first guy if there was a GoFundMe buying him dinner, dude. I mean, like you said, just Jake Guentzel immediately after potting the overtime winner has the stick pointed right towards Vasilevsky, acknowledging who the real MVP of that game was.
And the benches cleared and rallied around Vasy. They went straight to him. That was really neat.
Yeah, very, very cool moment. Oh, things only got better for the Lightning as they rolled on. They would go to Washington for a quick trip over to D.C. against the Capitals and Ovechkin. But the Lightning, they dominate this game too, and they win it by a final score of 5-3, despite, again, giving up the first goal in this game. That's been a little annoying. If they could stop doing that, please, I'd appreciate it. Capitals score one early, and then the Lightning really take over in this game. This was the Brandon Hagel show. He scores 2 huge goals in this game. Bjorkstrand does score a power play goal in this one as well. That's something you really love to see, Lightning power play back in it. And here's the biggest number from this one, guys. Face-offs, 53.7% for the Lightning. Can we get a round of applause for the face-offs? They finally did it. They took a game where they won majority of the face-offs. So, again, a lot to like in this game, even despite the Capitals making a little bit of push late in this game. Cirelli eventually gets one to make it 5-3. And you still felt, for the most part, I would say pretty comfortable with how this team has looked overall.
Let's talk stats again real quick. Since you mentioned that, 0 for 6 is what the Capitals did on the power play. So we had our penalty kill has been really strong, and in fact, that one of the goals that Hagel had was a shorthanded goal. So even more props to him. He had an amazing series of games these past few days, and that shorthanded goal. I think could have been potentially like a turning point for these guys in the game, because it was right after we had gotten scored on. It was at the 2-minute, 53-second mark, and Washington scored a minute into the game. So getting that getting a penalty right after you get scored on hurts. But then to answer back with a shorthanded goal was such a momentum changer and a boost for the team that the Lightning didn't give back after that moment.
I didn't get to watch much of this game. The only goal I did get to see was that the fifth goal from the Lightning, the Anthony Cirelli goal. That was kind of the nail in the coffin there. But I was stuck doing karaoke for a friend's birthday party. I know where I rather would have been and had been watching this game. It seemed like it was a really fun watch when all those goals came in the first period. I do notice the shot differential, and it does not look very good. Like, were we being outplayed this game? I know I looked at the deserve to win-o-meter, and it was heavily in favor of the Capitals. Did it really feel like we got that outplayed?
There were parts of the game, like, for example, it was late in the game when the Capitals made a push back that they really started to take control and actually play their best hockey. But it was that 2 minutes that they had a really bad start. But for that middle parts of the game, at least I thought the Lightning still played overall good, because shots on goal, while they can tell you a lot, don't always tell the whole entire story. So for me, Matt, no, I personally did not get that feeling a ton. By the way, speaking of Brandon Hagel's shorthanded goal, Lightning scored a shorthanded goal, a power play goal, and then a 5-on-5 goal all in that first period, which is pretty fun.
The in terms of momentum, the Lightning scored 4 goals on 6 shots in the first period. So with the goal differential being, 3 to, like having 3 more goals than the other team, and basically not having to play as aggressively, I think there's a bend don't break sort of mentality.
It's a good point.
And you could see it that the Lightning weren't really trying to take it as hard to the Capitals rather than pick their moments. And and even Dan just brought up a comment here where Kucherov had a breakaway, and Kucherov absolutely owns Washington Capital goalies if he has a breakaway.
Death, taxes, and Nikita Kucherov scoring on breakaways against Washington goaltenders. It's fantastic. I love it. Kucherov, he was, he's really heated up lately, and it's been really nice to see. Even some of those guys, top dogs, who have had kind of struggles early on, but Kucherov, it seems like he's right back to him being his old self. By the way, Matt, I believe this was a game, again, you can add to the tally of deflected goals off our own players. That happened in this game, of course. I believe it was the Jacob Chychrun goal that it was. I can't remember exactly, but that did happen in this game as well. Jonas Johansson was in net for this one, by the way. Should mention that as well. There were, and I know the score doesn't look as friendly to him, but Johansson was good in this game. There were a couple of big saves that he made when Washington was really pushing that kept the Lightning in this game, in the sense that Washington couldn't tie it up. So Jonas Johansson, I still thought, was solid. He's been really good this year. I know when he first came over, we were kind of looking at like, well, he's been really good or really bad. And then I know some people got frustrated with him, but especially this year, I've been very pleased with Jonas Johansson.
Oh, this has been his best year in a Bolts uniform by far. I mean, when he first came in and he had to be Vasilevsky for a couple of months or, month and a half, whatever it was, like he was good enough, but it seems like in all these games, he's given us a fighting chance and then some. Like I only got to really look at stats and highlights from this game, but from what I saw in this game, he was really good. There's like one softie that he let in like late in the game. I think it was the third goal, but you can kind of excuse that. I know 3 goals doesn't look good, but when you've got 2 extra, you can give it a little pass. He was definitely better than either of the Washington goalies that played that game. So, no, good for him. He has been, just short of incredible this year. He's really helped us out, especially early this season when Vasy was still kind of getting everything together.
And one other note too. I do want to point out that Curtis Douglas, who continues to fight game in and game out, actually went up against Tom Wilson, which is a crazy matchup. I mean, that's a seasoned veteran heavyweight going against a guy Curtis Douglas is big and tall. He's still a little lanky. He's got to put some years on himself, but good on him for taking on the challenge. And it seems like that's something he's really thriving to do and putting it as part of his just part of his game. I think that Gabby Shirley had an interview with him last game talking about how that's one of his main ways that he's trying to get some momentum for his team. And man, I'd rather go hard into the crease than try to drop gloves with Tom Wilson. That's a hard assignment, man.
Jumping the gun a bit too. I mean, his next assignment was not any easier by any means, going up against Nick Delorier in the Flyers game, who is pound for pound, I think, the best fighter in the league right now. And even he held his own. I knew Delorier was going to win the fight, without question, but just even being able to stay up as long as you could and get some punches in on him, he's turning into quite the enforcer. You got to love him. He's fearless.
He really is. Comment here from Daniel saying Curtis Douglas continued to fight, but has he won a single fight?
Yes, he has.
I would say he won that first fight, the first one of his career, in that first game that he played. That was an unbelievable fight. And like you guys said, he was definitely punching above his weight class in these last 2 fights. I think it was Brian Egblom said on the broadcast that he's kind of just feeling everybody out and trying all these different fights. Like, all right, let's see how this goes. Let's see what happens. And then we'll see what happens when he gets the rematches against some of these guys in round 2.
Although I gotta say, I absolutely love the helmet spin that he does after the fight. It's so cheesy and silly, but I love it.
And fights, like, yes, it's good if your guy wins them, but it's kind of become a little bit more of a, I don't know if show is the right word, but like, it's to hype your team up. It's to hype the crowd up. It's to send a message as well. But like, you look back a couple of years ago, love him to death, but Pat Maroon, he was our enforcer. And did he win many fights? Any single fights? No, they're kind of hugging matches. If there's anything I can give Curtis Douglas here, at least they're entertaining. They're very fun. I still really do miss Tanner Janot. He's, in my top 5 for enforcers. There's nobody, there's not many guys that are better than him, but still, I think we've come a long way from Pat Maroon being our enforcer.
Well, I was going to say, look at Tanner Janot, who won just about every fight that he did, but that experiment did not go well in a lighting uniform. So I listen. I always hope that Douglas is eventually going to start winning some fights, but he's definitely sparked the team just about every time he's do it. I love this comment here, by the way, from Ben. Douglas is a certified fighter. He's having a blast fighting people, always a smile on his face. And I love this. He said, or however you spell that Philly's Goon name. I know some of these names are tough out there. Trust me, I know. But Lightning get the win against the Washington Capitals, and they've gotten on a streak. They started playing really well. They come back home and take on the Philadelphia Flyers. I think we said it last week too, guys. This one always a weird game. Flyers, Lightning games tend to go very high scoring. You really never know what you're going to happen. Well, in this one, Andre Vasilevsky happened, and he gets the shutout. Lightning win it by a final score of 3-0. Boy, Andre Vasilevsky, again, absolutely fantastic. He has really looked like himself in this game. Not a lot of shots in this game, only 20 for the Flyers, 18 for the Lightning, but they made them count. Brandon Hagel, Anthony Cirelli, and then Brandon Hagel again on the empty net. By the way, we got another classic Kucherov passing to get the assist on the empty net goal, because he definitely could have scored on that if he really wanted to, but Kuch wants the assist, so Hagel gets a second goal.
Well, let's talk about that play, because there's a real good reason that Kucherov didn't bury it himself. He gave it to, I think, even though Vasy got the shutout, the best player of the game was Brandon Hagel. He was all over the ice, defensively, offensively. He figured in
shorthanded.
He figured in on all 3 of the goals, right? He was just everywhere, and especially the last minute or 2 of the game, where he was doing everything that he possibly could to break up plays and prevent the Flyers from getting an opportunity. And I feel like the Kucherov assist in this specific instance was kind of a tip of the cap to all the effort that Hagel was putting in, and it was an attaboy giving him the empty net goal for that, because he deserved it. I was so happy that he got an empty net, because man, did he work his butt off to help preserve that shutout.
Yeah, I love
that.
Go.
I was saying, I love that. I love that. That's the thought process you have for that, because that's great. I love that.
I was lucky enough to be in attendance for this game. It was my first game of the year, and even I could notice that in the arena. Sometimes you kind of lose a little bit. Your eyes can kind of wander, but you always, you can't always tell when Brandon Hagel is really putting in, a hell of an effort. He's the guy that you just always, he's always moving. He never takes those games off, and it really did pay off for him here. And he was effective shorthanded as well. You said even strengthened on the power play, but even the few chances that Philly had on the power play, kind of truncated power plays, he was dangerous. He was getting the puck out, and his defensive game, even 5-on-5, was really good. And the team as a whole as well, I thought, did a really good job of just breaking plays up. If there were loose pucks, they got them out of the zone, away from the goalie. A couple really nice shot blocks as well, from what I could see. It was just a really good team effort all around. Of course, it's kind of a easy pickings. You can say it was a really good team effort when you keep them to 20 shots and you get a shutout, but from just strictly the eye test, everybody was really good playing for each other. Kind of like what I was saying earlier. This was a bit of a microcosm of what I was saying earlier. Everyone was really playing for each other. Vasy came up big in a couple scenarios, but I think the guys did a really good job of preventing them getting into the zone. There were a couple easy zone entries, but if there was any kind of loose puck or cross ice passes, sticks were in the way, skates were in the way. They did a really good job of just defense first this game, and the goals, were just supplementary because of that.
Hedman, McDonough,
Chernak.
Help me out. Who else do we have that's not out there? Well, I wanted to just bring it up that we're so short defensively, and then also down Braden Point for this game. I mean, this was a huge effort from everybody. This whole week has been a huge effort, top to bottom, and it's I don't want to go as far to say that it's addition via subtraction, but the amount that guys have been willing to step up through the adversity has been huge this week.
In the limited minutes I got to see them, Declan Carlisle and Steven Santini. Is that his name, Steven Santini? Number 16.
Last name.
Whatever, Santini. Yeah. I know that I got that right. I thought they did a good job. And again, you're not going up against, the Colorado Avalanche or anything. You're going up against the Philadelphia Flyers, who, have arguably been a pretty decent team this year. They put up goals and they can keep them out of their net. But I thought that bottom pair, for what limited time they got, they did a good job of limiting everything that came at their way. Again, it was a lot of, committee defense with forwards and defensemen and your goalie on top of that. But like you're saying, Joe, it's not addition by subtraction, but everybody's really punching above their weight right now. And it's a good thing. I hope it can last, or I hope it can at least last as long as we have to stave off the injury bug, but everybody's just playing really good right now. And Lilleberg, he also had himself a hell of a game as well.
Oh, he got the assist, putting a shot from point right on net, right into Hagel, who deflected it in. That shot could have just about gone in clean itself. Hagel was doing a great job on the screen. And then he jumped into another play that was a 3-on-2. And man, if he would just have been able to corral that puck, and the net, I think, would have been open for him because of the way the dynamic play ended up developing. I think I probably would have lost my mind screaming on that one if he was able to convert. But he's really good at stepping up on the play when it's appropriate, and he had a heck of a game.
Oh, just like you, turning Lilleberg into kind of a joke, and then inadvertently becoming a bit of a fan.
It's fun.
It's really fun. And being in the arena, I was with my buddy, and he's kind of got the same mentality about him. We were both screaming, Lillebomb, right as he gets that shot from the point. Lillebomb, and then Hagel tips it in. But it's just so electric when you get to hear Paul Porter saying Lilleberg over the PA announcement. It's so great.
I do want to get to a comment here from Ben quickly. Also, really good game for Dominic James. Felt he played really well. He's all over and pursuing people. Yes, absolutely. It's been unfortunate that a lot of them haven't gone in for him, but he's a guy, and this is a reason that he got the call up in the first place, to be able to play in the lineup for so long. He's a guy that you notice on the ice 24/7. He's always hustling and making plays. I'm a really big fan of Dominic James. So 100% agree with you on that one, Ben. So Lightning get the shutout against the Flyers 3-0. They're on a winning streak, and what a week of hockey it was for the Bolts. Even if everything wasn't pretty, even if they have been banged up at times, they made great plays when they needed to. They played majority good hockey, and they're right back they're in first place in the division, which is just crazy to think about after what a rough stretch it was to start for the Bolts. But it just goes to show that these guys know what they're doing. They've been here before. This is a very talented roster, and they've gotten right back to where they need to be, and then some. So
what's almost as good as the Bolts being in first is the Leafs being in last.
It's not where I thought you were going with that, but yes, that is very true.
I
didn't know that. That's awesome.
And of course, RBLR merchandise.
That's where I thought you were going. Shop.RBLR Sports, just as amazing. Both are very good. You're right, Matt. Don't forget, for you guys at home, go check out the merch we have over on shop.RBLRsports.com. You guys can use code BOLTS to get 10% off your order. Lightning, Rays, Bucks, Rowdy, Sun, team-inspired merch. You name it, we got it. Go check it out. You can buy a really cool t-shirt. Help support the show. We really appreciate it. And you get that as well. And I believe we're going to try this out, guys. If I can find it here in a second. We have a QR code that you can go and scan even, because we're getting fancy over here. Now, of course, as I say, I can't find it. There it is. Up in the top left, QR code. Scan it. You can head right over to shop.rblrsports.com. And again, Como Pro Bolts to get 10% off of your order. Maybe I'll leave it up there for a little bit. It kind of cuts off my head, but who cares about me? Anyway, Matt, you are right, though. The Leafs have been struggling a lot, and they are falling fast. Panthers also are having some issues. Now, granted, they've been banged up. We kind of expected that. But anyway, let's get to our 3 stars of the week for this week. Boy, guys, was it tough to pick, because there were so many guys that deserved a shot at the list here. But I think it won't really surprise you for the list. it's guys who have been staples of this team and really showed up this week. So let's start with the number 3 star. It's a guy who is making a case to be known as the Jake Guentzel 3 stars of the week. Of course, that's Jake Guentzel. He gets the number 3 star. You had to put him on the list after the hat trick that he had, a couple of big goals, of course, in the Edmonton game, the one big goal in the Edmonton game. So I think it's a well-deserved 3rd star for Jake Guentzel.
Yeah, the production comes early in the week, but just like I was saying about Brandon Hagel, just like I say about him last week and every other week, a guy that just doesn't take games off, doesn't take shifts off. He's always in the right spot. He's really refining his defensive game. In the Philadelphia game, I thought he was a nuisance and a problem on the penalty kill in the best of ways. I thought he was spending more time in Philly's zone than in his own zone on the penalty kill. So just a good guy, a great player that's been just doing everything you could ask for and then more. Like, it's one thing if he's just putting up these numbers. It's another thing that he's playing smart defensively and just playing away from the puck and everywhere he should be equally as good. So I just like a lot of these other players, I'm kind of running out of things to say with him, but just another fantastic week, and to cap it, or to start it off with a hat trick. You got to love that.
Oh, and I definitely loved it. Like I said, I was at a game with one of my buddies who's a Devils fan, and ironically enough, when we went to that Devils game, all of the goals were scored at the end that we were sitting. I didn't know that we were supposed to have our seats on the other side. So as soon as I corrected that and went back to that other game, all the goals were scored on our side except for the one breakaway that he had. So I'm very personally thankful for Guentzel for that one, since I didn't have to suffer another loss next to my buddy, the Devils fan. But great. I mean, he's really come into his own on this team. He's just keeps producing and producing and producing, and he's finding different ways of doing it too, which is equally as impressive. So I love having him as our 3rd star, and what a week for him.
Time to go to the number 2 star, and we're going away from the skaters this time, guys. It's a goaltender, because boy, was he fantastic. He made a highlight reel save. He had a shutout. Who else could it be other than Andre Vasilevsky, the big cat? Fantastic stuff for him for the number 2 star.
Finally. I mean, it seems like it's taken long enough for him to get on here, but after a rough start to the season, he's really rounding out into the guy we all know. I'm still kind of shocked about all the Vasy's washed conversations people like to have, because if Connor Hellebuck didn't exist, he gets the Vezina Trophy last year, and he's, perennially a candidate for it, or at least in the conversation for it. This year didn't start off too hot, and just I'm not a fan of the Vasilevsky erasure around the league. It's definitely disheartening to see, but man, he's really starting to come on with a shutout and a one goal or two one goal against performances, one coming off the hand of his own teammate as well. You can really say he only allowed one goal at all this week. So, no, just credit to him. I can't say enough about him. He's really turning into the guy we all know he should be and is.
Unless my math is off, and it definitely could be, but it looks like he had a .974 save percentage this week. Are you kidding me?
Dang.
I mean, that's Vasy numbers if I've ever seen him. 2 goals in 3 games, and then that OT save for against Edmonton. Man, that's and to think he got scored on like a minute into the Edmonton game. Then he hasn't allowed a goal in since.
Wow, that's a good way to put it.
Goals against average for the 3 games played, .66, 974 save percentage, and that leads the NHL for that entire week, by the way. So, yeah, it's really, really good stuff.
He didn't even get a star of the week. They gave it to some goalie in Minnesota.
Absolutely ridiculous. How could they do that? But he gets the number 2 star on our show here. All right, time for the number 1 star of the week. Ben really wants Lilleberg to be the first star, but unfortunately, Ben, we did not give it to Lilleberg. Listen, again, there are a lot of deserving guys. One player who's not on this list that had 9 points this week was Nikita Kucherov, and he didn't even get a star on this list. So, but the first star, it goes to the future captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm going to keep saying it, Brandon Hagel, who had an absolutely fantastic week. Joe, you talked about in that last Flyers game how good he was in that one, but just the hustle that he shows every single time. He was in a major slump. He scored 10 goals now, by the way. So he is really broken out of that slump. Great to see.
And if you're going to call him the future captain, it's because he's leading by example. I mean, he did everything this week to put his heart into it and get the troops to rally around a really, injured roster overall, where we've got replacements all over, and has had struggles the week before. So if you could definitely say that Hagel put the team on his back and helped pull them to victory. It was an amazing thing to see.
Take everything I just said about Jake Guentzel and multiply it by 2. I mean, just he's all effort all the time, and he's a guy that hasn't avoided the injury bug either, but he has not let it get him down. Where did he take that puck off of yesterday? Kept him down for a little bit. Do you guys remember that?
Oh yes, I think it was up in the face. I think.
Oh,
that was like his neck.
Man,
his neck. That's what it was. Yes,
it was far away from me. They didn't really show the replay, or I wasn't paying attention to it. But man, another guy who's just a battle wagon. He's a warrior. He takes a huge hit to the head and he's back. He only misses a single game. He's durable as can be. So I really hope he can stave off the injury bug. That's the last thing we need, because right now he is putting this team on his back. Jake, you didn't really have me, a couple of years ago when we got him, but I can't think of a better future captain right now.
God, I love Brandon Hagel. There are your 3 stars.
Dan's got a comment.
Jake Guentzel. I'm going to get to that. Andre Vasilevsky, Brandon Hagel. Let us know if you guys agree. Do you disagree? Love to hear your comments down below, as always. Speaking of comments, I got 2 quickly here. By the way, Ben said that he can live with that. He loves Hagel, but one day Lilleberg is going to get that first star. Hey, he keeps playing like he is. He will definitely get it sooner rather than later. Dan said saying future captain might actually be a bad omen. Past few have ended badly. Dan, I don't like to be negative, so I'm sticking with the positives here. Let's go, Brandon Hagel. I think he could be a future captain, but listen, Hedman's isn't over yet, so don't you dare discount him right now. He could come back a shot out of a cannon.
Stamkos' tenure
going. The Lightning are winning, baby.
Stamkos' tenure ended badly for him, or what came after his captaincy. I think we're all right.
We're not going to talk about that. But yes. Anyway, let's get to actually real quick before we get to we have so much to talk about this week. It's been such a great week. Let's do it again next week, please. I do want to get to Dan's old comment talking about the Stadium Series. He said, anyone see the new Stadium Series commercial with Hedman and Baker Mayfield? Yes, it was fantastic, and I absolutely loved it. He did say, almost wondering if ticket sales are hurting with them rolling out a second commercial 2 months before the game. I don't think so. I can't imagine they're going to struggle to sell tickets for this game. I know they're all crazy, outrageous prices already, but this is a big game. I think they'll sell out no problem. And I think it's more of us. We're getting closer, and they're going to start building hype for this video. And hopefully soon, we're going to get some Stadium Series jerseys. We saw the Panthers and the Rangers. Those go out. I did think those look very nice as well, but that's besides the point. So hopefully we're going to get that stuff soon. The commercial was very funny, though.
You're going to promo the event regardless of ticket sales, because there's also quite a bit of swag and merchandise to be able to sell revolving around it.
Got to build the hype.
I'm not sure that I'd buy into it being that they're low on ticket sales, but I do think it is one heck of a cool promotion, because you'll definitely get some people that are just Bucks fans and not so much Lightning fans that you might be able to pull over and get a little bit of interest. And who doesn't love a little bit of Baker Mayfield in the Tampa Bay area?
Oh, it had me hook, line, and sinker. I love that. I loved that commercial. I thought it was really funny. And, it's the NHL. They're not great at marketing, but I thought that was a really good commercial. I'm still waiting for these jersey reveals. I wasn't a huge fan of the Rangers and the Panthers jerseys. I think the Stadium Series jerseys are always way better. They pop a lot better. They're usually a little bit more creative, but I'm chomping at the bit. I can't wait for any of this stuff to come out.
Well, Matt, me and you have talked about the jerseys at length, even way before that the season even started. They cannot mess this up. There is just one thing you have to do for these jerseys, please. And also, don't bother scouring the commercial for any kinds of clues. I already did that. There's nothing in there, unfortunately. I was hoping for something, but not quite yet. But we're getting close, so we're hopefully going to get a lot of that information soon. I can't wait. I'm super excited. It's going to be so much fun. I'm really, really looking forward to. Let's get quick comments here. I gotta put this up because it's kind of funny from Ben. Rangers, Panthers, 2 garbage bad teams. Don't care, never will. Well, yeah, rose-colored glasses a little bit, but I just like these outdoor games. They're fun. Commercial this week as well is a no-fee ticket sale deal this week. Oh, that's nice. So there you go. If you want to get some tickets, if you haven't done already, now is the good time to go.
Good Christmas present.
Yeah, absolutely. Black Friday, all that fun stuff coming up, holidays. Grab those tickets. All right, let's look ahead for the Bolts here coming up. More closer than, because unfortunately still got to wait for that Stadium Series game. Lightning taking on the Calgary Flames here on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern over at Benchmark International Arena. And then they're going to head on the road. They're going to have a back-to-back here. And boy, do I love these times for these games, he said very sarcastically. They're going to take on the Detroit Red Wings in Detroit at noon, 12 p.m. Eastern. And then they're going to head to New York to take on the Rangers at 2 p.m. Eastern. Why are these times? I don't know, but that's the deal for these upcoming games for the Bolts. Both those are back-to-back. And then let me just double-check. We'll be back for the next show when they get ready to take on the Islanders on Tuesday. So Calgary, Detroit, and New York are the 3 teams coming up. Guys, any games you're looking forward to?
All right, so Calgary's second to last in the league. Just don't screw it up, guys. Detroit will be a game that's for control of the division. But honestly, I want to see some retribution from against that trash bag of a team that is the New York Rangers that's on Saturday.
A response game would be very nice. Calgary, don't take them lightly. They're on like a 3 or 4 game winning streak. I know they're still last in the league, but everybody's, you can have a hot week. So hopefully you don't let them take advantage of it. You could make 5 games in a row, 5 wins in a row, do it. But yeah, also revenge game. You gotta love that. Jake, I might hate these times more than you do. This is incredible how 12 o'clock and a 2 o'clock game. That's not a fan. On a back-to-back, too. That's crazy.
I don't get it. I think it's something with their Black Friday event that they're trying to do, but it's terrible times. Even like Dan said, notice the league scheduled 1 game tonight, 15 tomorrow. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't, but it is what it is. Those are the times, and we'll be there watching the boys play some hockey. By the way, that Rangers game, I do think that's the best chance for revenge, because remember, the Rangers are awful at Madison Square Garden, so you better keep that trend going for the Bolts. But guys, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in with us once again. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell for notifications so you don't miss out when we do go live for future episodes. But once again, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you to everybody who was here commenting along with us. Really do appreciate it. We'll see you guys in the next one. Go Bolts.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.